All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our Heart to Heart series, and I'm Christine Matus of the Matus Law Group. And for those of you who've been following along and seeing a lot of our interviews, you know that this is the time where I really want to showcase people that we know, we like, we trust, and we respect. And we find that once I find this diamond in the rough, I want to showcase this person. We don't just showcase anybody that we meet. We really are impressed with certain people. And then deep down inside, I'm always telling myself, everyone should know this person. So this person today is someone I immediately connected with. Albie Delgado, I am so excited you're here. I mean, you are probably one of the busiest, most networking person I've ever met. So for you to spend the time with us, I not only am I honored, but everyone who's listening in should really take note because this is how you run a business. This is how you gain respect. And this is how it is to be a professional. Just a little bit of information that I have about you, Albie, but I know you're going to fill it in.
Yes.
But, so far you've been in sales for over 30 years. You are, to me, one of the most professional networkers I've met in over 20 years. You've been in residential solar for several years now, and I know you love it. There is a
Yes.
passion in your voice when you chat about it. Yes, you are known as the solar guy. I love that. And it really works because whenever I hear the term, so I think of you, like your face comes on, your name comes on, it just rolls off. So
Stuff.
you are very, very effective in that way. And what I love is that your mission is to help as many homeowners as possible to take advantage of clean, renewable energy. And that is really a key thing that I think is very important because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about it. And there's a lot of people who may know about it, but don't take advantage of it and probably just needs more information, but they're intimidated because I have to tell you some of the terminology is overwhelming. I've heard you speak a few times and I'm always learning something new, and then sometimes I feel bad because I feel like you're repeating the information, but it's hitting me differently and I'm always like,
Yes.
oh, I get it now. But Albie, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And I really can't wait to dig in more for you to talk about exactly what you do. I think the
Okay.
one big thing I would love for you to share is how did you get into this area of work? Like, how did it start?
Well, like you said, I've been in sales for over 30 years. I've done a lot of different sales jobs. I just knew people that were in solar. I had a former colleague of mine, him and I actually used to do residential door-to-door sales for Cablevision,
Oh, wow.
and we just connected, we stayed connected, and I was at Comcast Business for about 6 years, got laid off, and I said, you know what? Let me figure out what I want to do. I like the business end, but I like the residential end better. So I said, look, everyone has an electric bill, everyone's got to pay it. The rates go up all the time. Let me see if this is something I can apply and show value and benefits and go from there. And that's what I did.
You are really also very personable, because I think this area of what you do can be so technical. Like, I think if you don't have any warmth, it's a big turnoff where people will
Yes.
just brush you off. So I think that's amazing. But, the idea that, and I learned this a long time ago that, there used to be a connotation when people say they're in sales. And sadly, sometimes there's a misconception of like, ooh, like, what are you trying to do? But I've learned over the years that sales is a service.
Yes.
It's what we do to help you. We're not trying to get something by you, get something
Yes.
over you. You have a need, I may have a solution. That is
Yes.
it. I mean, that's what I think, that's the
Yes.
feeling I've
Keep it
always
simple.
felt. And I get that from you
Yes.
immediately, immediately. So, so you've been in this industry for a while. What are the big changes or improvements that you've seen?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to talk about things that may sound random, but for me, it's something I deal with every day. So, a lot of homeowners have what they've been seeing is insurance companies, when you pay your homeowner's insurance, you deal with, most people deal with an insurance agent who does home, does auto, what have you. But what's been happening is insurance companies have been sending drones to people's houses. They've been inspecting the roof. Then they send them a letter saying, hey, the roof is old. We don't like it. You got to replace it. And if you don't do that, we're going to drop you as a client. So obviously, homeowners get discouraged. They get nervous. Oh my God, I got this letter. Who do I speak to? What do I do? I don't have any money. So insurance agents and I have worked very well together because, again, there's a need. With the company I'm with is called Sunny Max Solar. They're based out of Delaware. And my main focus is New Jersey. That's most of conversation is going to be about New Jersey.
Hmm.
So what happens is, like I said, I speak to insurance agents and say, look, you have a homeowner that has a need, have them reach out to me or let me reach out to them, and we'll have a conversation. Hey, bottom line is we know you need a new roof. However, if you're open to solar, let's see what we can do for you. Let's go over some numbers. If it makes sense, we can proceed, and I'll go over all the benefits. I'll go over the misconceptions. I'll go over things that are going on in the utility world. I'll give you an example. PSE&G just raised their rates 7%. Atlantic City Electric just raised their rates 8%. And the utility companies are raising rates for a lot of reasons. One, to make money, because you have to understand they're not a nonprofit. They have to answer to shareholders.
Hmm.
And then like I said, I'll get a little bit more deeper into this as we go along. I don't want to just keep talking and talking. So I
It's
want
all
to,
good.
jump in when,
I love it though. I think it's because where else are we going to get this information in the background except
yes.
you, the expert? So I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, and just let you know, like I said, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is the governor signed the Clean Energy Act in 2019. So basically, what it says is by 2025, which is this year, your utility company has to have at least 35% of their customers using some sort of renewable energy. And then by 2030, they want that number to be 50%. I feel those numbers are very unrealistic. So what's going to happen is your utility company is going to get penalized and they're going to pass the cost on to the consumer. Also, by 2030, there's a $90 billion infrastructure bill coming due. Again, this is something the utility company is going to pass on to the consumer because they're not going to pay it. So, and I tell people, I tell homeowners, no matter what happens today, you have to pay an electric bill. How much do you want to pay? Because they're going to keep raising the
It's
rates.
true. I mean, you know where it really hits home is when we have a terrible storm or some situation and then lights out, no power, then you really start to appreciate what you have. And then my husband and I start thinking like, how can we avoid this? How can and then you think about the costs of involved of things that are sadly to waste
Yeah.
when we don't have the electric. And when you're saying passing the cost on to the consumer, I feel like that should be really emphasized because that is going to happen.
Yeah.
I there's no doubt in my mind. There's
Yeah, I
no
had a
doubt in
client
my
reach
mind.
out to me on Monday, said, "Hey, look, I got an electric bill in the mail. It was $480." I'm like, "Wow!" And understand, we're in January. We just hit January, so that was either a November or December bill. So it wasn't even a summer bill
Oh
that
my
you could
goodness.
say, "Oh, it's because you had the air conditioning running 24/7."
Oh my goodness.
So it's insane what people are paying.
Now what are some of the misconceptions that you found, Albie, that why, when you hear this, it sounds like makes sense. We should really look into
Yeah,
this. But I'm curious if there's things that you have heard that
yeah.
people seem to be locked on and they'll be like, yeah, I don't want solar because of
Well,
this.
the couple of things I hear all the time is solar's expensive. You need a giant down payment. You need money out of pocket, and that's not the case at all. We have a couple different options for homeowners. We can do a lease, we can do a purchase, and provide the financing. I recommend if they want to buy the system to get their own financing because I can get them a better price. I can even recommend a mortgage professional if they don't have one already. Obviously, Christine, you and I are both BNI members, so obviously that's where I go first. I'm a proud member, by the way, I'm a proud member of the Mount Laurel Regional Chapter, and I'm also a BNI Gold Club member, so I got to plug that as well.
Love it, love it. Absolutely, absolutely. No, B and I, yeah, that's how we initially met.
Yes,
You would help, you would pop in and visit, and it was a great way for us to get to know you.
yeah,
Me too, being a longtime member of the Tom's River Networking One
yep,
BNI. I love it, and but with any networking group, just talking professionally, I think you get out what you put in.
absolutely.
And I think a lot of issues I've heard with professionals and my mindset in the beginning, I would join networking groups, stick for a couple of months, and I'd be like, I'm out because I didn't get any business. It was a very me-centered mindset in the
Yes,
beginning. And, as I matured and learned how to be a little bit, to learn more about what to do, I think, and I love, that's why I click with BNI, and I definitely know you do too.
yes,
But with anything we do, it's what you do, what you give is really that should be the mission. That should be the focus. How can I help you? And if it comes back to you, and I have always felt it's never a direct one-to-one. I believe in karma. I believe in
yeah.
the universe. So, and I could see you do that. And I was wondering, Albie, have you come across people who want to start out in your business? Is there some type of advice you want to give them, like how you've become successful in this? What are the things that you might want them
Oh,
to
you mean
know?
salespeople?
Yeah, or just in
Oh,
your area, your business. Yeah.
oh, well, just that I have, and again, I'll email this to you. I'm always looking for salespeople that are looking to grow, looking to help. I mean, if you want to help, your community, you want to help homeowners, that is the first thing. I want people that are honest, people that have integrity, people that have a great work ethic. But yeah, I actually have two programs that I have right now, and I like to say they're geared towards mortgage professionals, realtors, and also insurance agents that do home and auto. So I have a phenomenal referral program, which is basically commission plus bonus plus residual. I can explain that at a later time. And then I have another program, which is a donation program. So this one is geared towards charities, nonprofits, places of worship. If you're a Rotary member, those are good too. A member of the VFW, that's good too. Because even though BNI is big on givers gain, I'm big on giving back as well. So
Yes.
if people refer me clients and I'm able to help them out through their solar journey, I also want to say, hey, let me give back as well to these organizations too.
I'm glad you brought up nonprofits and like churches. I've seen quite a number of churches also get into the solar panel thing. And
Yes.
is there an added benefit with that, Albie? I'm just curious, or it's
Great
just
question. I will tell you that I don't do commercial solar, but I do have a partner that does do it.
okay.
So the good thing is if you're doing commercial solar, there are, federal and state incentives. You are going to save a lot of money because the numbers are bigger, obviously.
Yeah,
And you're also going to be able to make money. So again, that's as far as I can really go into it.
that's
But I
good
will
though.
tell you if somebody says, hey, I have a perfect referral I would say is like an Amazon warehouse
Mm,
or a restaurant or a supermarket or a stadium or a college. Those are great referrals because they use a ton of electricity and they could save a ton of money. And like I said, I pass it on to my referral partners that do commercial solar. So again, that's also, passing it along through BNI. I
that
also
is,
have somebody that if someone says, hey, I have solar ready, but I need to take the roof, I need to take the panels off so I can replace the roof and put them back on. I have someone that does that as well.
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And so again, some of the things that I've heard, so the other side of my law practice is with real estate. And
Yes.
sometimes we are dealing with families that have solar. And when they have someone who doesn't want the solar panel for some reason, there always a fear to saying, like, well, what would you do? You have to take them off. And, I'm curious if you've come across that
I
because
come
I
across
always,
that a lot.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's all about dealing with professionals. I'll give you an example. If I have a house that's $500,000 and I want to sell it, and if I said, you know what, I'm not going to use a realtor, I don't want to pay a commission. What you're doing is you're putting yourself at risk because you do need to deal with professionals. So if you're selling your house, it's funny, I had this conversation with somebody earlier today. So if you're selling your house, you need a realtor, you need a real estate attorney. If well, you know what, let me go back a step. So let's say you're buying a property. So you need a real estate attorney, you need a home inspection. I can't stress that enough. A good realtor, a good mortgage person, and you need title. These are things you need because these are professionals to make sure the transaction goes correctly. Because if you don't use these people, it can be a very expensive lesson. So the same thing with people that say, "Hey, I was going to buy a house that already has solar." What I tell them is, get a copy of the agreement. Let me take a look at it, and let me give you my educated opinion if I think it's a good house to move forward with or not. I'll give you an example. If it's a house and the solar's been on there for 25 years, I would recommend not buying that house because that system is older, so why not, take advantage of a new system with the latest and greatest technology? But again, every situation is different. But I am also an asset to real estate professionals to say, look, I can look at the agreement, tell you what I think, and try to give you the best analysis that I can offer. The other thing is obviously, like I said, with solar, there's three things that I do. I do solar. We can also incorporate a new roof. That's a big factor, and also incorporate tree removal if needed. Again, I would reach out to a fellow BNI member for those for the tree removal. But roof replacement, our company does have that taken care of.
I love that because again, that's always running through my mind that someone who's trying to place solar panels on my roof or move or whatever you have to do, and then knowing that you have that background in roofing, I think that gives me another sense of security that we're dealing with people who understand the whole
Yes.
structure of
And
how
there's
it
a lot,
works.
and there's other misconceptions that I tell people about. Like number one is, when we do a roof replacement, it's a 1 day job. So it's not like we have a dumpster in front of your house for 4 weeks. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
Number two If we're giving you a new roof, you get about 6 or 7 different colors to pick from, which is nice. Number three, you get a 50-year warranty. And then you also get a 10-year penetration warranty for where we place the
Great.
panels. So that's another layer of protection. And the
Oh,
panels
that's
themselves
great.
come with a 25-year warranty. So you're
That is
protected a
great.
lot of different ways. You also got a monitoring. You have to monitor the system. We're going to monitor it as well. But the biggest thing is communication. You're going to always be able to reach out to me with any questions, any concerns. I'm here to handle that for you, top to bottom.
I love that. So here's a question. So say a homeowner or a realtor calls you and say, "Hey, Albie, I am in the middle of a deal and they already have a company, an agreement in place, but can you review it?" And say you find certain things, you point out certain things, and then the homeowner goes, "Oh, that doesn't sit well with me." What's their recourse? Can they, change companies? I mean, I guess it depends.
Unfortunately, you can't do that. It's like saying I'm on a diving board, and if I jump in the pool, I'm going to get wet. Well, as soon as you leave the board, you're wet.
That's it.
So once that person has already got that solar agreement, it's locked in.
Wow.
Locked. Most of them are the standard in the industry is 25 years. So it really depends. Like I said, what the situation is. I will tell you, probably 90% of the solar deals I see out there are very good, and
Okay.
obviously there's some that are not. But again, it's all about educating the consumer and dealing with the right professionals. You know.
And what I think is important is that say you're a homeowner and you're thinking of working with a solar company, you always want to think that next step. Is this a good deal for me? And if I need to sell, I want to make sure the perception is that this is a good deal so that the next person doesn't feel like I don't want that because that could
Yeah.
hold up a deal. That
Well,
could,
it could, but again, it comes back again to education. So I would tell them if you decide to sell your house, reach out to me. I have real estate professionals that I can say, hey, they can help you sell your house because again, understand you whether the when you sell your house, that homeowner that's going to buy your house still going to have an electric bill. So if
yeah,
they can take advantage of solar and save on their energy costs, why not? Again, most people aren't thinking about that when they're buying a house. They're like, "Hey, I just want to buy the house." Okay, well, there's a couple of other benefits that you may not realize. By the way, this person just got a new roof, so you're good for 50 years. This person is using clean renewable energy. This person is taking advantage of again, if they buy the system, they're taking advantage of federal and state incentives. So again, it really depends on the scenario and the situation. Example, if it's a homeowner that's retired on a fixed income, there's different ways I'm going to approach that as well. To say, look, I'm going to help you as if you were my grandfather or my grandmother or a close friend because I want to make sure you're taken care of and you're not taken advantage of. Because unfortunately, not everybody out there is a professional.
yeah.
And the first thing I tell people to do is go to my website, look at my Google reviews, and we're looking out to help you. And the other thing is, I will never push you, I will never sell you because again, I don't want the backlash from that. I want you to be happy with the transaction. I want you to refer to me, and I want you to give me Google reviews. So
I think that's so telling. And I mean, typically I like to ask, a lot of people I'm on the series, so what would be a couple of things that makes you different from other people in this industry? Because there are certain
yeah,
companies
yeah,
that I hear, quite honestly, though, you're the one that always pops up at the top
yeah,
of my head, and you're doing, and then that's telling to me.
yeah.
But I'm
Well,
curious
again,
if something
some of the
that's
things I
different
tell
about
people, look,
having,
there's a lot of companies out there. I'm not going to sit there and say they're not. There's a lot of great companies out there.
Mhm.
However, if you deal with me, I'm always going to answer your phone call. I'm going to answer your text message. I'm going to respond to your email. No matter what the situation is, I'm going to get back to you. I'm going to educate you. I'm going to let you know the facts of what is going on. Just like I mentioned, the Clean Energy Act. I manage the infrastructure, $90 billion bill coming. Most of these solar people aren't going to bring that up. They're like, hey, let me just get the sale and move on.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, there are a lot of guys out there that, they're in their mid 20s, they jump out of a van, they don't have a business card, they promise the world. I don't promise anything. Based on the information we have, let's give you the right information. That way you make the best decision for you and your family.
I love that. And so and you were already kind of predicting it, but we see how solar energy is, and I was curious what your prediction would be, as we look 3, 5 years down the line, even 10 years down the line, how are things going to be with this?
That's a great question, but I will say it's nothing but good stuff because technology has just gotten better and better and better. Think about 30 years ago. Did we even have cell phones? Did we have you know uh, you know the TVs we have today? Think about when you again. I'm going to age myself. When I was growing up, we had an S standard definition TV. We know the big bubble TV. Now
Same.
you have high definition, and it's not just high definition. It's they're thinner. The better
Oh,
picture, better pixel. So it's like technology is always getting better. Same thing with solar, it's always going to improve. So, anytime I speak to a client, they're getting the latest and greatest. Now, the other good thing I'll bring up, and this is kind of on topic, is our solar panels are made in the US and they do not emit any emissions and they have a
Wow,
shelf life of 30 to 35 years. So the
fantastic.
customers are going to be happy for a very long time.
That is great. That is really, really good. And are you able to help residents in New Jersey only? And do
Well,
you
my
have
territory is New Jersey, PA, Delaware, and Maryland.
Oh,
However,
wow.
if I have a homeowner that's in another state, I will connect with one of my partners to help them out. So that's not a
Oh.
problem.
Oh, I love that. So New Jersey, PA, and Maryland.
Del
Oh, that's
and
good.
Delaware.
And Delaware. Oh,
Yes.
great. Oh, that's
Yes.
good. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, I
Yes.
love that. So in the big picture, Albie, as this is growing, this is like it's solar has been around, it's evolved.
Yes.
And I'm curious, do you have any predictions of how many more families should be doing this? And what are some things that they should be aware of if they really should seriously consider this?
Well, I think again, it's important to educate the consumer, number one. I think it's important, especially there's a lot of scenarios that people don't think about. If you have an electric car, you have a swimming pool, you have a hot tub, you have a heat pump, or your house is all electric. And again, any of these situations are just going to raise the bill even more than what you're paying now. So if anybody's paying an electric bill of $200 a month or more, that's a great person I definitely want to talk to. And again, my job is to say, look, before you say no to solar, have all the facts, have all the information, let me educate you, and then you can make the decision. I mean, can I help everybody out? Absolutely not. There are people that live in, there's people that we can't help. We don't help people that live in condos, row homes, mobile homes. We can do townhouses if the association allows it. Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no.
Hmm,
Our bread and butter are single family homes. That's really who we
got
want.
it.
And believe it or not, New Jersey may look small on the map, but New Jersey is a very big state. I'm in Bordentown, and if I drive 2 hours to Bergen County, that's how far that is. If I drive to Cape May, that's 2 hours. I'm basically in the middle of the state. It's a very big state, and there's a lot of people we can help out. And I
The
say,
one
look,
thing
no
I
matter
know
what
about.
happens, yeah, no matter what happens today, you're going to get an electric bill. It's going to keep going up. If we can help you and save you money, plus, like I said, if you need a new roof, that's always another plus. And just show you this is the way of the future. And again, everything goes up in cost. This is one thing that you have control over.
Absolutely. And New Jersey is so dense. There is just
Yes.
so many people, because we're smack dab in the middle of Philadelphia, New York, it's like there's just so many
Yeah.
people there. And I'll share with you, I used to live in Long Island, New
Okay.
York, and I had an apartment and that was all electric. So that was just an apartment.
Yes.
And I remember the bill, my mom would tell me, this was back in the 1990s, 95. I'm dating myself. And my mom would be like, Christine, your electric bill is more than what I pay for my house at the time. And
Oh,
so I can
wow.
only imagine if this is your situation, it's even more. And again, things to look at. But even then, I remember, having families telling us that, if it's all electric, a house all electric, oh
Yep.
my gosh, it's
You get no breaks. Well, the funny part
no,
is, and I'll be a little off topic here, but I always tell people another comparison I use is, back in 1993, a gallon of gas was $1.11. Guess
right?
what? Gas has more than tripled since that time. And also since 2021, the cost of electricity has gone up 25%.
Oh my God.
So
I
my
didn't.
thing is this is not gonna stop. This is not gonna go down. So my thing is if you can find a way to save money, and obviously take advantage of clean renewable energy, because obviously we're looking out not just for ourselves, looking out for our kids and grandkids and so on and so forth.
Yeah, 100%. On a personal level, Albie, what are things that you love to do or what you're focused on? Do you have any hobbies or anything like that?
Hobbies. I would say networking is a
Oh,
hobby for me.
yeah, I agree
Um,
with you. You're
yeah,
very
I'm a,
good at
I'm
it.
a very big Philadelphia Eagles fan. Go Birds. I love baseball. Phillies fan. Love spending time with my family. I have kids. I have grandkids. And like I said, just taking every day and just making the most of it and enjoying it.
I love that. I think and it sounds like, what you do has allowed you to enjoy that. I mean, there's a lot of people who are very good at what they do, but when it comes to the personal side, sadly, they may not have the time to enjoy things that they like to enjoy. I love that you love networking, because again, I love meeting new people. I like learning about what they do and how my families could take advantage of that. And that was probably one of the big reasons why I loved chatting with you and I felt like, oh my gosh, you have a great energy and that you are genuine and you are sincere. of how you I try to help people, and you're just so passionate about this, which is huge.
Yeah, it's funny,
Um,
a little off topic. I actually just did a one-to-one on Zoom with a fellow BNI member of my chapter. He's pretty new,
yeah.
and he's like, "Hey, I'm just trying to grow my business. What can I do?" We had a great conversation. I said, "Hey, start visiting chapters, start subbing, do one-to-ones. Did you do your training?" "Yes, I'm going to be presenting next week." "Great." So we had a great conversation. I gave him a lot of information based on my years of experience of what I do. I'm like, "Hey, if you want to follow my blueprint, you may not follow it to a T because everyone's schedule is different, but I gave him as the best information that I would give myself if I needed that information."
I find that you must have very good time management.
Oh yeah, I'm very OCD. Time management is
Yeah.
everything. My
Yeah.
Google Calendar is everything, so I
I
need
was
to
going to
know.
ask you, so what do you use, a digital calendar, and you just
I use the Gmail, the
you do,
Gmail calendar, the Google
and then
Calendar.
but you
That
put
thing.
everything in there. Like
Yeah,
that's it.
I check that thing probably 50 times a day. Like, hey, what time's the meeting? When's the next meeting?
Yeah, you were
Uh,
good. Even
yeah,
over the
yeah,
break, I remember you emailed me, "Hey, I heard there's a meeting here. I'm going to show you." I'm
yeah.
like,
Oh yeah, there's always something going on. And when I do networking, I'm very strategic. Like if I see someone that does something unique, if
mm-hmm.
I meet a florist or I meet a, real estate attorney or personal injury attorney, I'm always looking for ways to grow my network and put them in places so they can succeed. I'll give you an example again, way off topic, but I'm going to bring it up. So I have somebody that the guy actually I spoke to, he's also going to be subbing at another chapter. I said, by the way, not only am I helping the chapter because you're going to sub because they can't do it, but they have a category that is open that I know that I can help them fill it because I have people I know that it could be looking for that opportunity. So I'm not just looking to grow my network. I'm also looking to give back and help those groups as well.
And but when you do that, you become a real person and not just a category and someone who just does solar. That's it.
Yeah.
Like you're someone that you become this hub, Albie. And I think this is something that anyone new in a profession or who wants to jumpstart their profession, be that hub, be that resource. And I've always said that with my team is that, we're here to help families. And if
Yes.
we're not the solution, that's okay. We'll find the solution. And in one way or another, we became that solution. We helped them on their path because I think if
Yes.
you go in, I just want to help you. That's all it is. There's
Yes.
nothing else. There's no ulterior motive.
Yes.
I see you're in pain or you needed something. I may know something, and you've become that. You really
Yeah.
have, Albie, because in my head, I kept thinking about, certain groups that I would just pop in. I'm like, oh, there's Albie again. There's that. And, but there is also the other side of it. There are others that I've met who do what you do. But I think sadly, there is a different energy where perhaps there's a feeling of they're wanting to take. And then you seem to avoid them, because
Yeah.
like, oh, there's that person again. And it feels like every time you're there, they want something from
Yeah.
you. And I think if you give it, the giving vibe is an attractive vibe.
Yes.
So it's just something to keep in mind for other
Absolutely. You're exactly right. I've been to events and like, oh, this person's here again, this person's here again, and they're here for the free coffee or the free donuts or whatever. I'm like, I'm here for the opportunities. You don't know who you can meet. You don't know who that person knows. Like I said, people assume like real estate agents are like my number one referral partner. Believe it or not, I'm working to try to make that happen. Right now, it has not happened. But insurance agents have been gold for me, and I'm going to continue to help their clients that need roofs are open to saving money with solar. So that's been a great opportunity for me as well. And another side topic, I have a colleague who's a insurance agent in Philadelphia, and I'm connecting her with another chapter that said, "Hey, I couldn't sub it. I've subbed this chapter a few times. I checked it. By the way, there's a spot open." And I made a connection with the president and my friend and say, look, not only do I want to do business with you, I want to help you grow your business too. And they've connected. So I said, hey, and I told the guy, just let me know how it works out. Hopefully, I said she's a powerhouse, and I think she'll do great for your group. And
that's
just small
generous.
token of my, I don't want to just help with my words. I want to help with my actions as well.
And I do believe that actions do speak louder than
Oh
words,
yeah,
right? I mean, there's so many people who say a lot of things
yeah,
and it happens, but then when we have someone who actually follows through on something,
oh
isn't
yeah,
that like it's wow. It's like, oh, they really did it.
yeah,
It's so kind.
yes.
I think that's amazing, and I love it. One other thing, Albie, I was curious about. So, as you are, growing your business and helping, I'm curious, what time do you start your day? I mean, honestly,
That's a that's a great question. I love mornings.
yeah.
So this morning I was up at 5:30.
Oh,
So
wow.
I usually get up between 5 and 5:30 every day. But my day usually starts at 7. Like I was subbing at a chapter this morning. I was there at seven
Love it.
o'clock.
Yeah.
I was in Clinton, New Jersey, if you know where that's at. I have
Oh,
no
I
idea where
do.
that's at.
I do know where that is.
I'm
Oh
about an
gosh.
hour from where I live. So I was there. I was there a year ago. So I'm like, hey, I just want to come check it out again. And I reached out to the president to say, hey, is it the same location? Because, things change. He's like, yeah, it's good. So, by the way, if anybody needs a sub, he reached out to me the following day. Hey, somebody does need a sub. I say, oh, yeah, I'll take that opportunity. Met some great people. Some people remember me from the last time I was there.
Yeah.
And then one of the guys behind me is like, hey, can you sub next week? I'm like, you know what? Let me check my calendar. Yeah, I can sub next week. And instantly was able to help somebody there. But also, I met an insurance agent that was there, and I already emailed her. I want to see if we can do a one-to-one, either phone, Zoom, or after the meeting next week. So I'm already planning my next steps.
That's fantastic. I love that. And then at the end of the day, like what time does your day, when do you start winding down?
My
If
day is
no?
it's usually over the latest, I'd say, is 7, but
Yeah.
mostly that's the latest. Unless I have an appointment, that's
So
different.
you're a full
Yeah.
12-hour day
Yeah.
man. That's
Yeah,
it.
but for me, I don't want to sit there and say it's not work. It is work, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it when I get a design back. I enjoy it when a customer says, let's move forward. I enjoy it when I get an email saying, hey, the installation for the roof has been set. The installation for the solar has been set. Payday, that's always great too. So I'm always looking for all the wins
That's great.
during the day, during the week, during the month.
I
And
love that. And, and again, it's that old saying, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I do believe that, I could see it because, there's that connotation work seems like it's hard, but it is work. But yet, if you have the passion behind it, that's what's driving you. Because you have high energy, man. You
yes, and I
have
don't drink coffee. You can
ah,
believe that.
what?
No coffee.
I love it. Even better. So, Albie, can you share with everyone how can they get in touch with you? I'll put in the comments in here your
Yes.
website and things like that, but
Yes.
please share everything. We'd love to
Yes.
have that.
So my cell phone number is 609-802-6403. That's my cell phone, so they can call me, they can text me. That's a great way to get in touch with me. My email is albie, ALBIE, .delgado, that's DELGADO at gmail.com, or albie at sunnymaxsolar.com if you want my office one. And also I have a website, thesolarguyusa.com. Also, when you go on there, click the top right, you'll see my reviews and all the reviews I get from Google. And I'm always looking for homeowners that want to get information. I'm looking for salespeople that are looking for a second income stream. And again, I'm looking for the organizations that are looking to raise money through my donation program as well.
Amazing. Albie, I'm also going to call you the Renaissance Man because you're it. And this was such a pleasure and such an education. I know there's so much more you could share,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
think you really piqued everyone's interest, and you also broke down a lot of myths and barriers of what made people hesitant to even explore this. And that you were so personable that they shouldn't hesitate to reach out to you, get the information they can, because I love that your main drive is to educate, so at
Yes.
least they can make an educated decision. Albie Delgado, thank you so, so much for spending this time with us. And I appreciate everybody else listening in, and I hope you learned something new. I'm Christine Mattis, and thank you for joining us on the Heart to Heart series. And that was Albie Delgado. Thanks,
Thank you for your
everybody.
time. I appreciate it. It was an honor being here.
Thank you.